Okay, I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
So we are about to play a pretty special song. It's "Save Me"
Highly recommended by our friends.
It's cult members. That's an inside joke.
That goes way back.
That's gonna be the first shirt. Join the cult. Highly recommended. I don't want to do a lot of talking because it's the Avenged Sevenfold's second longest song. I think it's 10 minutes, 54 seconds. And you guys know we talk a lot, so I'm not going to do a lot of intro. One thing I will say is that unfortunately they lost a band member, the drummer. I think his name was The Rev. Sevenfold fans, correct me if I'm wrong. And so there have been a series of songs that they released that dealt with his passing, and I think this was probably the first one. Mm-hmm. Prescription pills and alcohol, which
intentional or unintentional?
I don't know. I think they said accidental. I had a member in my family that passed away almost exactly the same way, only it was intentional. So, so this is probably gonna be a difficult song for me, but a lot of Avenged fans asked for it, so we are gonna play it, and here we go. So they've got like a build-up type intro. Down-tuned the bass. Kind of like Korn, but not as low. Right? The guitar sounds, the lead guitar sounds very mournful. You hear that?
Yeah.
Like it's that's the thing about music, man, especially metal, is that they're able to
express and feel through the instrumental.
I think he just said skull.
He did.
Okay, so this song is gonna be about death. Right out of the gate. Guys are talented.
Yeah.
I gotta hear this song live to see. You know, in this particular song, I wanted to focus on the lyrics because I think the message of the song is super meaningful. So I didn't do a live video because I wanted to be able to see why everybody.
Wow! Yeah, they are.
Let it fly.
Yeah.
Wow, these guys are talented.
I like that one. Let it fly like that.
I should have brought my guitar. I really want to focus on the words. Hear that background?
Yeah.
I love background vocals like that.
Sorry, did I wake your dreams? Some questions run to me. We only wake up when we sleep. Led by the lunar light, troubles all we find. Lost our way tonight. Is it something we said? Is it something we said to them? Is it something we said? I'm trapped in a bio world where the endings are the same as every other. We're only here today. I'm losing my only dream. I can use some guiding light, some place to go. You hear me? Let me know.
Wow.
Ever since the day you left, my fate's been set unknown. How many years to walk this path alone?
So it starts off, sorry, did I wake your dreams? I think like it's like him talking to his to the Rev, the bandmate that died, because I think sleep here is a metaphor for death.
Uh-huh.
And so he's talking to him, so he kind of like disturbed him. You know what I mean? Because did I wake your dreams? So like he's trying to talk to his bandmate that died, which, you know, apparently this dude was in a ton of turmoil. So he basically, his life got ended, whether purposeful or accidental, I don't know in this particular case, but whatever reason, he over-medicated himself to the point that he died. He was in a ton of pain. So when you sleep, you can dream. And he's saying, I'm sorry did I wake your dreams? Some questions run too deep. Basically, if he had the chance to wake up his friend to ask him these questions.
Yeah, I was thinking,
he'd want to do it.
You know when you have somebody that's close to you that dies, and when you fall asleep, you're like with them, and they're there, and then as you wake up, you realize that they're not, and everything feels just so weird and painful, and you're like brought back to reality. So I was wondering if it's like, sorry, did I wake your dreams? Some questions run too deep. You know, like the pain, like sometimes it's pain that like actually wakes you from your sleep.
Oh,
so I didn't know if it was like
personified.
He's waking up, because it says we only wake up when we sleep. Like, because you feel like when you're in that dream state with that person, like you're awake, they're there, everything's good. But
that's a real reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be taken both ways, because I remember experiencing that. I remember, especially when somebody dies suddenly, which, you know, in my case, I had 2 family members that died very, very suddenly. When you wake up, like the first few moments when you wake up, you still think they're there.
Yeah.
And then that realization hits you, no, they're gone. They're never coming back. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We only wake up when we sleep. It's interesting. It's pretty, like the most nihilistic side of me, the most cynical side of me is like, when you die, that's when you enter the real reality, right? Like that's when you really wake up to what's actually been going on. Mm-hmm. And not to get too, you know, mystical, but like all the, you know, I believe all the real stuff is unseen, and you don't see the unseen until you die.
Right.
So you only wake up when you sleep. Led by the lunar light, troubles all we find, lost our way tonight. Lunar light is interesting because you're led by the moon instead of the sun.
Yeah.
So that means the light that you have is night light instead of being in the daytime.
Yeah.
So like there's just the darkness of why did you, is it something we said? What does that say to you?
Well, you know how when somebody dies, and especially if it's sudden like that, you just wonder, did we say something? Did we do something wrong? Like, is there something we could have done differently that would have changed that? You know, it's that. It's just, it hits you because like that's what it feels like when, you know, someone leaves in such a sudden fashion like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, is it something we said? Is it something we did? He says that later on. And those are the questions. I remember going through the emails and you know, she was talking about conversations she had and yeah, you always wonder that. And the really screwed up part of the whole thing is that you're never going to get an answer to that. Mm-hmm. And the other crazy part is people always come to you and they say, there's nothing you could have said, there's nothing you could have done.
Right.
And you always say to yourself, how could you possibly know? You weren't in the situation. I mean, people are trying to make you feel better. I mean, you said that to me, you know? Mm-hmm. People are trying to make you feel better. And I don't really know what the answer is, you know? There's like 140 of us now in this little community that we have, so maybe some of you have experienced that. I mean, I don't know what the answer is to that, you know what I mean? I mean, we love the people we love. We do the best we can with them, but, you know, yeah, that's a pretty crazy line. It's crazy about metal that it's able to speak to these deep issues of the human experience in these very small lines. So I'm trapped.
You know what's interesting though is it says is it something we said? So it kind of makes it sound like the band as a whole. Like, is it something that we said to him? But then it says, is it something we said to them?
Yeah.
So it almost like broadens it to all the people that have died in like manner.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, I'm sure And that's the other thing when you're dealing with somebody that you love that has an addiction issue. I'm sure they saw that
There was a problem.
He's overdosing here. He's taking too much. He missed his snare on this particular part of this song, on tour. And you say something, but you don't say something. Where's that line?
Yeah.
So is it something we said? Is something we didn't say? Something we did? Something we didn't do? I just, and then here is where we paused. It's something we did, and it's just crazy because, of course, our perspective is that we're all sinners, so we're all going to hurt each other. We love each other to death, and we just shot a fight video yesterday. So that's a crazy thing about losing somebody like that, because you're always going to do something bad to somebody, even the people you love. As a matter of fact, the only people you really hurt are the people that you love, right? So, and the only people that truly hurt you
us are the people that you love.
Yeah, and so it's this crazy trap that you get stuck in when you lose someone like that, which is why you should never do that if you're considering it.
Right.
Save me, I'm trapped in a vile world where the endings are the same as every other. We're only here to die. I'm losing my only dream. Because I'm sure they grew up, we're going to be rock stars, and then now his friend is dead,
Yeah.
I mean, so what's the point of everything that they're doing?
I think, too, that, at the beginning of the song, he just says skull, and then there's just all this music, just that one word, and then all this music. And then over here, he's saying, I'm trapped in a vile world. Basically, we're only here to die. I remember one time my vehicle got robbed. Multiple times it's happened to me. And each time that it happens, I always think, the whole world is full of crooks. And I'm like, go out, and I'm like, I bet it was that guy.
You're
I
so
bet
cute.
it was that person.
Crooks. I think you're the only person that says that word.
So, I'm sure, these people, in this given situation where that was, they had this dream together and stuff like that, then all of a sudden it just, it makes it feel like everything in the world is vile, everything is bad, when you're actually going through a situation, everything just is, painted by that same haze.
Yeah. I can use some guiding light, some place to go. If you hear me, let me know. Whew.
Because you think that's because you said, according to your interpretation, when you die is when you actually know something. So maybe he's saying, okay, now maybe you can guide me. You were pretty screwed up when you were here, but now maybe you can guide me. Maybe that's the way that he's used that when, people think that when, you die.
Yeah, and it's such a it's I remember when that person died, one of the people that died in a pretty sudden way, that, we had, not me and you, my ex and I, she had dreams about her. There's always this wishing you could have one more, especially if they die like that, because there's no closure, because they didn't get to say goodbye. And, of course, there's a story in the Bible where this guy and his mentor basically dies. And he goes to this witch to try to conjure him up so that he can have one last conversation, because he doesn't know what to do, because he's lost all of his, that was his mentor. And so he goes to this witch, which you're not supposed to do.
Right, because he was supposed to go to God, but instead he tries to go through that route.
Right, but he goes to this witch to go and what's interesting is the guy shows up and basically says, why did you wake me up?
Yes, yeah, I remember
and
that.
So it's kind of like, they're sleeping, they're dreaming, they're having a good time, they escaped this vile world. Why did you come? But it's this yearning of somebody from that invisible world come and tell me what to do. And he talks about, I could use some guiding light, because he was led by lunar light, which is night. But now he's like, I wish I could have some guiding light, because situations like that bring you to the point where you're like, okay, really, what's going on here? What's our life? That's crazy. So much to see tonight, so why'd you close your eyes? It's interesting how night works in this song. And why can't I shut mine? Which is, it's true, because your thoughts
keep you awake,
torment you for when you lose somebody like that. And it's interesting, so much to see tonight. So in this line, the night is a good thing, which is interesting, because when do most rock shows happen?
At night.
At night. And, it's like you kind of have this nocturnal lifestyle as a rock star. So there's so much that the night had to offer them.
Right.
In one sense. But in another sense, it was probably that whole milieu, that whole subculture that ended up killing him at the same time. Because that's where you get all your drugs and all your, I don't want to presume to speak about this guy, but why'd you close your eyes and why can't I shut mine? That's a pretty crazy line. It's a pretty crazy line. All right, let's keep going. You ready to keep going?
Yeah.
All right, you good? All right. And I hate to sound petty here, but the metal here is crazy. I like this because it's like, we're going to move on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Isn't that where you're thinking? Like, I love you, brother, but
we're not going to die here.
We're going to move on.
Yeah.
It's a good tribute,
Mm-hmm.
That's what he would have wanted, I'm sure. And it's crazy because the drummer died. So there's a drummer playing. So they couldn't have made a song without moving on.
Whoa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This was their longest song.
That's cool.
They made another one like later on, but to date, at the time, this was their longest song. So they like put it all out for this guy. They loved him, So like everybody's just on 10 right now, lyrically, musically.
You're right, though. To see this one as a live video would be ridiculous, I'm sure.
That's such a gift to be able to feel that type of pain and be able to express it, and at the same time, honor your friend.
Didn't you say it was Kane's people that ended up with the instruments?
Yeah. I mean, they're just going all out here.
So many different ways.
They're just going all out here, like, with everything they got.
They're all saying something different,
Inside of me, stone cold lips and heresy, all rising to a degree, losing who I wanna be, we'll find out right now.
That's a crazy line.
Yeah.
Stone cold lips and heresy.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
No pulse inside of me, stone cold lips and heresy. Well, I think that, he's dead inside because his friend died. But heresy is speaking something against God. You're saying something heretical.
Yeah.
It'd be close to blasphemy. It's kind of like looking at God. How could you let this happen?
Mm-hmm.
How could you let this happen to my friend? How could you, he was sick. That's why he was prescribed meds. And how could you let him die? Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where you start speaking heretical things about God when you're in the midst of your pain.
Yeah.
Or things you're not supposed to say, or
words
whatever.
to the wind.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a story in the Bible of a guy who lost everything, and he starts saying things about God that's wrong, but he doesn't mean them. And then his friends come after him and try to correct him, and he basically says, "Look, these are words. I'm in a bad situation. I'm emotional. Right. I'm sure God understands that I'm saying stuff that I don't really mean about him." But
which is true. That's totally...
You have no freaking clue what I'm going through. And here you are trying to correct my... if you nitpick people's theology in the midst of the worst moments of their life. Mm-hmm. And so, that's how I take it. Is Stone Cold lives in heresy.
I bet you're right.
He's speaking things about God that he probably doesn't mean, because on the one hand, he's talking to his friend, but on the other hand, he's got to be talking to God to some degree about give me guiding light and all the rest of it. Because I think all of us know that our friends can't really do that for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good line. I love the honesty.
Wow.
What do you think about that? This guy's a good lyricist, huh? He may be out of his mind, but someday you will find that sanity left us all blind and dragged us all behind.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think, it's like, who's really the crazy person?
Well, okay,
Go ahead.
No, I was thinking maybe like he's actually dealing with it honestly, and so because of that, if you hide how you feel and you're not really honest about it, and you try to kind of like cover everything over in like a normal way of looking at things and present yourself normally, and you don't really deal with it, then it ends up leaving you blind in the end, and it puts you behind. I don't know. Like, what are you thinking?
No, yeah, I agree. And it's kind of a dangerous message to some degree, like to say this guy whose life ended in this way, you might look at him crazy, but to live in a world like this is kind of insane. And the things that you have to do with your mind to deal with the fact that the world is the way that it is, to continue to function in this vile world, is a form of insanity itself. And so it's kind of like if you were in the middle of if you dropped in the middle of a sewer. Like, the only sane thing to do would be to get the hell out of the sewer.
Right.
Right? And if you were in a whole pool full of people just swimming around, just happy in the sewer,
right,
saying that and then you're like, dude, I'm getting out of here, and they're like, you're crazy.
Why are you reacting?
It's like, it's a sewer. Hello, I want to get out of here. So it's like, and then the guy that leaves the sewer, like, what's wrong with that guy? As you take a head, dive into the goop.
Filth.
Because he's saying he's in a vile world, right? And so it's like sanity has left you blind. So you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm not in the sewer, man. We're chilling. Right. Now, I say it's dangerous because, that's not the solution. Leaving the world is not the solution. Cleaning up the world is the solution.
Right.
So I'm just putting that out there. But if you don't think that the world can be fixed, then that line makes a ton of sense to me. He may be out of his mind, but someday you'll find that sanity left us all blind. You've got to admit that the world is...
So this is talking about the guy that died.
I'm assuming. You got to admit that the world is jacked up, otherwise you're just completely disingenuous.
Yeah, right, exactly.
A moment seen through those eyes, crystal blue disguise. Get that?
I'm assuming the guy had blue eyes, and you couldn't tell how bad off he was.
Yeah, and then he died, right? Boom.
But I think it's interesting too that he's saying they say all beauty must die. I just say it moves on. So he's thinking, well, he's not clear of what happens to him, but that there's another place that he goes to.
His friend can't just be
completely
non-existent.
Gone. Right.
He was too powerful
too powerful, too beautiful, too...
Yes. Better word. Just too powerfully beautiful to just be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which I agree with.
Yes.
I love this.
They say that all beauty must die.
Interplay between sad music and determined
music.
Oh, yeah. It's not gonna give up now.
If you only open your mind, then someday you will find insanity left us behind, and walk right through the dark. I can see the pictures clear as yesterday.
different types of music that's coming out real quick. It's different.
Tonight we all die young. Tonight we all die young.
Imagine playing this at night.
The fullness of the music.
There's the night metaphor here. And the whole crowd singing that with you. What a good way to end the song. What a way to end the song. Wow.
Sound or the words?
Just the... Tonight we all die young is a really deep line. Very deep line.
Hopefully you do it. There's something on the next one. Legit. Did it end in the drum?
Yeah. Yeah, and
That's
the
interesting.
drum, that's true. The drum was the last lick at the end of the song. What do you got?
Well, it said insanity. Before, it was talking about sanity. That sanity left us blind and dragged us all behind. And then on here, it says insanity left us behind
And walked right through the door. So his insane friend left. The one who was insane.
Oh.
Because he said you might say that. Yeah, so he left.
Yeah.
Tonight we all die young. That's a crazy line.
Yeah, why? What did they mean by
Because
that?
if you could manage seeing like a crowd of, let's say, 10,000 people all saying that at the end of this journey, that is this song, you know, and it's a way of connecting with him because he's never going to age now.
Right.
Like, so he's never, and it's, you know, people, you know what they say, the blank die young.
The good die young.
The good die young. So it's a way to say that he was good and that we're all good and we want to be with him and we want to be where he is,
Wow.
right? Like,
well, that's a flip from the vile world.
well, it's
Maybe they found some meaning after the song and
well, I think
some direction.
well, yeah, but then you've got the whole theme of the night that permeates the song, and
Yeah.
the night sometimes is negative, and the night sometimes is positive. You know, like when he said, there was so much to see tonight, but you closed your eyes.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing is the stage and seeing all the people that love you and all the people you affected as a musician. And there was so much of that to see, and you're not seeing it anymore. But then they were saying, tonight we all die young, you know, in the sense of, you know, we were talking about this, and we might do a book review, actually, of The Catcher in the Rye. And one of the issues in the story for the main character was that he had a brother that died of leukemia, and the whole point of the book was he wanted to keep kids from losing their innocence, so he wanted to catch them before they fell over the mountain of innocence and fell into adulthood. And the point of the story is that you can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that and live in the world. You have to either stay young forever, which means you die and you just kind of frozen in time in that state. Or if you're going to continue to live in this world, you're going to have to lose your innocence and go on to adulthood. And so, but
then there's beauty to see in the world.
Yeah, but I think I think what they're saying at the end of the song is like, in this moment, we're going to be frozen in time as young people who love music, who miss this guy, and just for this moment in this show, I think this song was intended for not only this guy, the Rev that they lost, but also their fans who are feeling the pain.
Yeah.
And I think they wrote this with a live version in mind, saying we're gonna grieve with our fans, and we're gonna basically die with him through our music. And I think that's a really, really constructive way to handle your grief. For
sure.
Whew, heavy song. But there's nothing like very, you know, a lot of people were requesting this song, and I definitely see why.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I very rarely give a 10.
Stop it! I was just thinking that. I was like, I'm giving it a 10.
I'm giving it a 10.
That's what you do. So like, but I'm giving it a 10.
We should have like a golden play.
Throw some confetti up.
Well, we have nothing. We have nothing for. Okay, this is probably no. I can't. This is 11. You wrote me. I can't do that.
Pens. You got some pens.
For the Rev. Alright, no, seriously, dude. Like, rest in peace, man. And your band, like, honored you like crazy. Boom. Alright, it's a 10. Okay, guys, so we got through that. She got through it, kinda, crying like a big baby. Couldn't
I held it back some.
couldn't maintain your composure. You're such a babe. You guys know the drill. Get us a like, get us a subscribe, and recommend a song, and we will put it on the list. So, Avenged Sevenfold fans so far have been the most vocal, like, put our stuff on there. Yeah. Avenged Sevenfold! We should just name this the Avenged Sevenfold channel. Good night. These guys got some super loyal fans. So thank you guys very much. 32-minute video, which I knew was going to happen because it's a long song and we're very long-winded. Sayonara, guys. We will see you next time. Vin out.
Sori out.
All right. Hey. Oh, on a serious note, if you're thinking about doing anything to yourself, reach out for help. Because I guarantee you, no matter how alone you feel, you do have somebody that loves you dearly and would... don't have the talent of Avenged Sevenfold to be able to channel the pain that you would cause them into an awesome song like this. Mm-hmm. That's why we're all piggybacking on it, because they're speaking for us. So seriously, don't quit on us. Yeah? All right. Bye, guys.